What's up, folks? David Soto Jr. here, and this is the David Soto Jr. Podcast. What's up, folks? Welcome to episode 86 of the David Soto Jr. Podcast. I'm your host, David Soto Jr. What is the one thing that I ate that regulated my blood sugar? I didn't just lower it. Right? You can just not eat and lower your blood sugar. What did I eat that regulated? Like, it would go up, like, oh, I ate something that is high sugar content. Insulin takes care of it, brings it back down. Boom, I'm back down to, like, I'll maintain like 110, 111, my non-fasting blood sugar. The one thing I started eating that regulated my blood sugar was fruit. And I like fruit. I love fruit. But it has sugar in it, and I'm trying to stay away from sugar. Right? Right. I started eating just, was it last week? Last week, I started eating fruit. I'm wearing my continuous glucose monitor, and I honestly haven't taken care of myself a little bit better for like probably 3 weeks as far as eating nutritious food specific to helping my liver and cleansing my liver and giving my liver a break. So I don't know if it's a accumulation of me eating a salad every day, kale salad every day, or was it just a fruit? I kind of feel like the fruit, everything else my body appreciates, but as soon as I started putting fruit into my body, it showed me some love. I would eat a nectarine and an apple. I was at the grocery store. I'm like, you know what? Now I even stopped to get something for my salads, right? And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna eat a nectarine. I'm gonna eat an apple. And I got them one each, and got in the car. And I ate it in the car while I was driving home. And it was awesome. So I did it again the next day. Stopped and got, I think, another nectarine and another apple. And then the next morning, on my way to work, getting ready for work, I was like, I'm going to take some apples to work. Took apples to work, ate a couple apples at work. And I'm like, this is awesome. I love fruit. Why am I denying myself this? Well, I've been denying myself this because of what I thought I knew about diabetes and controlling your blood sugar and diet. It's low carb, right? Go low carb, don't eat sugar. Go low carb. You're going to reverse your diabetes. Which I don't have diabetes yet, but I'm like almost there. Like A1C levels are almost to the point where you're diabetic. So it's been a concern of mine for a couple of years now. Why low carb diet doesn't work is essentially because you're starving your liver of glucose. And for some people, the desire to eat sugar is too much. And it's not that they lack the willpower. It's that the desire is too strong. And that desire is not you being weak. It may not be like an addiction that I thought. Again, last episode I'd say that I went to Overeaters Anonymous. A lot of people don't think that you can be addicted to food or sugar. I disagreed. Maybe I still disagree. I don't know. But what if Those cravings are your body telling you that it needs it. Cravings do subside when you're on a low carb diet, but not completely. Interesting for me is if I do low carb, I will dream about bread and cinnamon rolls and, well, other pastries, but mainly cinnamon rolls. And now I get on social media like, oh, doing a low carb, dreamt about cinnamon rolls last night. And then people would eat, yeah, it happens to me too. It happens all the time. I dream about stuff and I dream about pancakes. Like people comment back and forth. It's not uncommon to be on a low carb diet and dream about eating some sugar. In fact, one of the best books I've ever listened to, it was an audiobook. Performance was great, but the book itself, the content is awesome, is Endurance by Alfred Lansing. And Ernest Shackleton took a group of men to be the first to traverse the Antarctica on foot. They both got stuck in the ice. The ice expanded and more water froze, and it started to crush their boat. So they had to get off and walk out of there, towing boats. They was on a big ship. They had boats with them that were on the ship. They took those boats off the ship and they pulled them over the ice and snow. All kinds of adventures ensued. Read the book or get the audiobook. Highly recommend it. But one of the things I remember specifically from that book was that these men lived off of seal meat, seal blubber. That's all they had. They had very little protein. They had mostly fat. Because the food they traveled for so long, the food that they had with them ran out. So they had a couple of guys would go out and find a seal, whatever they could find, they would eat. But seals were more abundant. It was easy to share because of their size, and the oil would be used for lamps and cook stoves. They'd render the fat. Basically, they lived off of fat for the several months that they were out there trying to survive and trying to get off the ice and be rescued. The thing about people in those days is they kept journals. And that's why we have a lot of the history we have is because the people kept journals. And those journals got collected, they got read by different people, books were published, like this one from Alfred Lansing. In the journals, people talked about a lot of things, but one of the things that they talked about was what they were going to eat when they got home. And for most of them, or I don't remember, it was all of them, but for most of them, it was sweets. It was pies and cakes and pastries. That's what they dreamt about. That's what they fantasized about. That's what they were looking forward to. Now, is that an addiction? It's all completely out of your system by this point. Right, so we think of addiction, we think of a drug that's in your system, your body craves it, you want more, you get more. When that wears off, your body wants more of it. How do you get rid of it? You go without. You abstain until it's out of your system completely. But there's still always that desire the desire is always there, right? But the thing is that dope or oxy or cocaine are not necessary for your body to function. You get it out of your system, you quit, you stay away from it. You know it's something you don't need. Your body knows it's not something you don't need. Psychologically or mentally or habitually, you may want to do things. You may have these triggers, but your body doesn't need it to function. So your body needs glucose. Yes, it can make some. But your liver is where glucose is stored. And when it's empty, it tells you that it's empty and it wants to be replaced. And it may need it to function as well. You get it all out of your system, you're still going to have cravings. They might not be as strong, but there's always that lurking in the back of your mind. You're going to dream about it. You're going to want it. You're going to have desires. It's going to be hard to pass up. That's why going low carb doesn't necessarily work to beat diabetes. I started eating fruit, broke the law of don't eat sugar, even if it's natural sugar. If you want to control your blood sugar, if you want to control your weight, don't eat any sugar, don't eat fruit. Even when I was a paleo guy, I was like, fruit's not even paleo because it's regional and it's seasonal, and you just go to the grocery store and get dragon fruit. Whatever. Who gives a fuck? The best results I ever got on paleo was when I first started. And I eat fruit. All the time. Every day. Not only that, but I had to give up cream and sugar in my coffee. I gave up cream easily, quickly, but I had to wean myself off sugar. So here I am every fucking morning putting sugar in my coffee. One of the rules is no added sugar, but I was doing it anyway so I'm putting sugar into my body first thing every day. And this is the point of my paleo diet experience where I'm losing the most weight that I ever have. That I'm first time in my adult life looking too big in the clothes that I'm wearing, that I have to actually buy new pants and buy new shirts and go down to extra large shirts. My blood sugar and blood work was under 100. Fasting blood glucose was under 100. Everything about my life at that time, everything about my health at that time was improving, was getting better, was getting to places that I've never been before. And not only was I eating fruit, but I was actually putting a couple packets of sugar in my coffee every morning. That's when I got the healthiest. Things started to go to shit when I went to eliminate those things. Eliminate fruit. Eliminate just eating so much fruit that I was full, and that would end up being my dinner. When I wanted to get instead of being patient or being satisfied with where I was, I tried to take it to the next level and started eliminating fruit. And that's when things got rough. Um, no, so I don't know what's going to title this thing. But one of the things I have here is to talk about genetics. Now, I'm supposed to be genetically predisposed to have diabetes because everyone in my family has diabetes. My grandparents, my aunts, my uncles, all of my grandparents, I think. And of course, when I got married and my wife got pregnant, or well, she was pregnant first, but whatever. Her food aversions did not help. Her food aversions and cravings did not help me stay on my paleo diet. And what was I doing? Oh, I started gaining weight. My A1Cs, my blood glucose, and my A1Cs started just skyrocketed, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna be diabetic. No wonder, because it's in genetics. It's in my family. I'm so prone to diabetic that just looking at things sugar is gonna cause me to be diabetic, and that's why I've been so concerned about my health the past couple of years, is because the blood work is showing that I am not doing good. Never mind that I got to a weight that was the most I've ever weighed in my life, but the blood work was really what motivated me. So I like, yeah, makes sense. It's genetics. Well, guess what? Yes, my aunts, my uncles, my grandparents, all my grandparents, my grandmother, everyone has diabetes. But guess who doesn't have diabetes? Is my parents. Both of them. In their 60s, have never had and do not have diabetes. So can it be genetics? Can we blame genetics? I don't know. For me, I did blame genetics, but if the two people who are actually responsible for my DNA and that made me don't have diabetes, and I am like 1% point away from, or tenth of a percentage point away from being a diabetic, I don't think that has anything to do with them necessarily. Another thing is we associate diabetes with obesity. And you have two kinds of grandmas, right? You have the skinny and fragile ones, and then you have the big ones. I had one of each, right? They both had diabetes. And skinny people can get type 2 diabetes. And why do we associate that with fat people get diabetes, but not skinny people? Wrong. Skinny people are, I don't have a number, are very prone, or as prone, or almost as prone to get diabetes as someone who is obese. So here's the thing. What if diabetes, or what if your blood sugar is the tool to tell you, hey, something's wrong? Right? It's not that your high blood sugar does have a negative impact on your body, on your kidneys, on your extremities. There's no doubt about that, right? But if it's elevated, and you notice that, it might be because it's telling you something. Like, hey, get some shit together. You're not doing well. And then if your goal is only to lower that number, so maybe you take some medicine and get that number lowered, and you're like, okay, I'm good. But what you essentially did is took the battery out of the carbon monoxide detector. So I try to dummy things down because I feel like that's how I learn. And then I relate this information to people, and it just so happens at such a basic level that they understand it. So right away I try to think, how can I break this down to make sense to me? And it's carbon monoxide detector. You take the battery, the carbon monoxide detector is going off, saying, hey, something's wrong, you're going to die. And you decide like, oh, what's that beeping? I got to make it stop. So you take the batteries out of the carbon monoxide detector, and then your beeping goes away. Well, what didn't happen was you didn't address the problem. You didn't address the real problem. You made that number go down. In the meantime, your house is filling up with carbon monoxide, and you're slowly dying. But hey, those numbers are down, or that beeping is down. So what may be the actual cause, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not even a well-educated person. But it doesn't mean doctors and well-educated people don't make mistakes or aren't wrong sometimes or don't know. Just basically don't fucking know. What does your liver do? What good is your liver? What we don't know. We've never looked at one. We've never looked at one that we've never been able to monitor, right? You don't see the liver function. You could do ultrasound. You can hear your heartbeat, or you can see it you can see your heart beating. I don't think you can see your liver working. Right? You don't necessarily know how important it is because you never see the thing that it does. Obviously, your heart pumps blood. Your brain, if it's not working, you can tell, right? It's important for intelligence and being able to do things. But is your liver important? The answer is yes. I believe it is yes. And high blood sugar is an indication that your liver needs help. And the thing is that your liver needs glucose to function. And when you starve it of that glucose, it limits its capacity to do what it's supposed to do. Because it just doesn't have the energy, right? It makes sense. So as soon as I started eating fruit, I started putting that glucose back into my liver. And my liver was able to better maintain or protect the pancreas. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff there that it doesn't make sense to what we've always known. And that's why I say, I don't know what the title is, but 95% of what I know about diabetes is wrong. I'm doing the opposite of what I thought I should do. I'm eating fruit. I'm eating a lot of it. My blood sugar is regulating. I'm not drastically losing weight, but I am slowly losing weight. Around 290 pounds. I was the other day. I want to hit 289. I want to go under 290. But I've been maintaining 300 for a couple years now. And even though I did drop 20 pounds going strict ketogenic diet, That didn't last. I fell off the wagon hard and everything just resumed. So 95% of what I know or what we know about diabetes is wrong. What is the 5%? What is the 5% of the stuff that is right? These are numbers are just completely made up by me. But I'll tell you, the 5% that we know about diabetes that is correct, your mother already knew, right? Your mother already told you as a child. That's the good stuff, right? That's the beneficial stuff about what we know or what's going to help us. And that's don't eat too many sweets. That's it. Don't eat too many sweets. Reese's peanut butter cups are delicious. Cinnamon rolls are delicious. Pie, pumpkin pie is delicious. But there's not much to it. Not much more than what you were told as a child that or you're restricted to as a child. Don't overdo it. Don't eat too much of these things. No one has ever ate too much fruit. No one has ever got diabetes by eating too much fruit. I bet it's just the opposite. Right? I there's no oh my god, he had a heart attack, he was so obese. Or I told him not to eat too much watermelon, but he did. He just kept eating watermelon. He didn't even care. It doesn't happen. Nobody gets sick. Nobody gets obese. Nobody gets diabetes. Nobody has kidney disease, gets Alzheimer's from eating too much fruit. It's from eating the stuff that you were told as a child not to eat too much of. It's from eating too much of that. Growing up as a, it's just growing up as a child because you're limited on those foods. For me, anyways, it was like, oh, when I grow up, I'm going to eat as much of this stuff as I want. Well, I did, and this is where it got me. What should you do? If none of this stuff that we've known about diabetes works, what should you do? I look at it this way, because my last podcast episode is about how diets don't work. I look at it this way: add nutrient-dense foods to your diet. You know what those are. If you don't know what they are, you could do what I did and look up what your health concerns are and what foods aid in reversing that. So if you, like me, oh, I'm concerned about my liver, what foods are going to help me? Or I'm concerned about inflammation, what foods are going to help me? I'm concerned about, and then you'll notice that it's mostly just vegetables and fruits are these things that are going to help you. Do a little bit of looking, find out what's good for you. Well, you have eczema. What food is good for eczema? All right. Find out. Do a little bit of research. If somebody's wrong, if somebody says, "Oh, mangoes are good for eczema," and then they turn out to be wrong, what's the worst could happen? First of all, you get to enjoy delicious mangoes. I would put tajin on it, but you get to enjoy mangoes, and you are still putting beneficial nutrients into your body. add nutrient dense food to your diet. And I would say I do that by eating a salad every day. I make a kale salad. I add leafy greens. I chop them all up, put a little bit of cranberries or apple in it. Something I wouldn't do in the past because I don't want that sugar, right? But little oil, little vinegar, little oil, little lime juice. I even do a blue cheese day. I'll cut up all the kale. I'll cut up some arugula, some other stuff, just all stuff that you just doesn't sound appealing on its own. Add some blue cheese crumbles. Add some tomatoes. Now, is blue cheese and blue cheese dressing good for you? I don't know. But if it wasn't for blue cheese and blue cheese dressing in this particular day, I would not be consuming an entire bowl full of nutrient-dense greens. This is why diets don't work. You're going to restrict yourself to only eat gross things. Here's the thing. Don't eat gross things. If something doesn't taste good, don't eat it. Because there's a good chance it's your body telling you not to eat it. You force something down. I'll give you an example. I know that garlic is good for you, so I've been taking it like it was a supplement. I just cut off a little piece and take it like it's a pill. Within a day or two, when I was taking it became hard to swallow, and I couldn't get it. It was like stuck in my throat. That's a sign that I ignored. That's a sign that your body doesn't want it. Then, the past few days, I felt super, super bloated, and I was like, "Oh my God, what did I do? What did I eat? This is not cool. I need to get some psyllium husk. I need to do something." And then I looked over and saw my little stash of garlic, and I remembered that this happened last time I tried it. Garlic's supposed to be really good, a prebiotic, helps probiotics, blah, blah, blah. So I started taking it in almost as if cutting it into like an oversized pill form and swallowing it. I did that before because of all the information I got. I remembered it. I realized the other day why I'm bloated is because of the garlic, and that it had happened to me before, and I forgot. So your body will tell you if it doesn't want anything. My point is, if you make something a little tastier, you can get these nutrients in that you wouldn't get if you just had to eat a bowl full of kale and arugula by itself. You wouldn't eat it, and therefore you wouldn't get the benefits of it. If you can put a little sprinkle of blue cheese dressing on there, and blue cheese, or my other cranberries, sweetened cranberries or apples in your salad, you end up eating a whole bowl of nutrients. If you had to restrict and not eat those little things that you would add to it, if you took those out, you wouldn't even eat it. So, if we go to my last episode, why diets don't work, one of the things is that why it doesn't work is this. Is that because you can't eat certain things, you will avoid other things. And those things are better for you. Those things are more beneficial than the negative impact of eating sweetened cranberries on your goddamn salad. If you like croutons, put croutons on your fucking salad. If that makes your salad better, then do it. Right? And we're not talking like iceberg lettuce salad. We're talking about kale. We're talking about spinach. We're talking about mixed greens. We're talking about arugula. Like all these things that you would never get. When you think of a salad, you think iceberg lettuce, cheese, eggs, ham, right? Let's get real. We're talking about nutrient-dense things that you wouldn't normally eat. And if it takes a sprinkle of candied pecans to make that stuff more palatable, then do it. Because if you avoided the candied pecans, you wouldn't eat the salad. And that's where the benefits are, right? My advice to you, or what I'm going to keep doing for myself, is eat a salad every day and continually put in as much nutrients into my body as I can. And then guess what happens though, folks? Guess what happens when you do this? Your cravings for stuff you're not supposed to eat, for stuff your mom told you not to eat so much of, your cravings for those things are going to go away. Because you're giving your body what it needs. It doesn't say, I need something real quick. I need my fix. Give me some quick sugar. Give me some quick glucose. Because your body is going to have the glucose it needs. Your body's going to get nutrients. It's going to stop wanting things that aren't really beneficial to it. And this wasn't a goal. It's just like, I'm done. I can't take anymore. And that's coffee. I do 2 cups a day. 1 on my way to work, which I love. And then 1 when I get to work. Now, I used to drink coffee all day long. So when I get to work, 1 after work, 1 for my next meeting, 1 before I go to work or out in the field, or 1 to take with me to the field, then 1 after lunch, and then 1 late afternoon, and then 1 after dinner. Like, I'm not bullshitting. I drink coffee all day long. Now I'm down to 2 cups, and not because I'm trying to quit. It's just like, it doesn't taste good to me after that. I have no desire for it. And that's the benefit of eating nutritious food. So you eat nutritious food, you get all these nutrients in there, your body stops having these certain cravings for certain things that your mama told you not to eat. And then you avoid eating those things. If you look at my last episode, why do some diets work? It's because you stopped eating those sweets. You stop having cravings for sugar, for chocolate, for all these things. You stop having, I'm sorry. Why diets sometimes work are because you don't eat those things. Because there's no diet that says, eat cinnamon rolls every morning for breakfast. Like, the reason that diets work is they all are eliminating those things that your mama told you not to eat, right? There's the carnivore, vegan, vegetarian, paleo, blah, 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 blah. None of those include donuts, right? If you put nutrient-dense things in your body, it will stop wanting these things. When you stop wanting them, you stop eating these things, you will start to lose weight. Also, when you put a big-ass bowl of salad and you eat that to get those nutrients, those raw nutrients in, you're going to get full. You're going to feel satisfied. You're going to eat less portions of high caloric dense foods. So if you have a pork chop, mashed potatoes, and broccoli, first of all, eat all your broccoli. But once you eat all salad, you're gonna find I'm full. Eat more nutrients. Eat less food, right? Stuff yourself with more nutrients. Your cravings, your desires, your portion size, they're all going to drop, and you're going to lose weight, and your blood sugar is going to be under control. I'm not telling you not to eat anything. I'm telling you, if you give yourself enough nutrient-dense food, you won't want to eat those things that make us fat, that make our blood sugar spike, that cause disease. Get those nutrients in as any way you can. Have you ever had a kale salad? No. Get a kale salad in you. All right. I think I covered everything. Folks, You can find me on social media at David E. Soto Jr. J. for Jr. I'm out there. What's coming in the future? I don't know. But I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you.